Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are here for our final halftime segment of the day. Can you believe it, little Tigers? You're almost done with your first day helping out here on NACL.
Done with embarrassing my buzzing skills. That's it. Everything
Practice
else,
it one more time. Buzz.
super fun. This, I am embarrassing myself. Buzz. I can do this way. I can do this way.
Yeah, however you
I just gotta pick one.
Yes.
You just gotta figure it out. Also, want to give a quick congratulations over to Fear for taking down Wildcard on the Path to LCS stream. I think that was probably an upset that a lot of people were expecting to go towards Wildcard's way because of how well Wildcard have played throughout the season so far. So congratulations to Fear on actually picking up those games.
Yeah, really cool to see the top two provisional teams not necessarily going the way we expected, but still keeping things interesting towards the top of the standings. But that's, of course, on the other stream. Make sure to pull that one up, twitch.tv/PathLCS, so you can support both streams. But for now, we're going to get into the halftime segment, where we allow players some time to get ready for their next game, and we relive the last game. We're bringing back one of my favorites to play, Pixel Perfect. Now, the Tigers, you have played this one before, right?
Yes. I have done this one.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Perfect. So for anybody who is not aware, it's very simple. We have a little bit of a scoreboard here to explain things. I took screenshots throughout the game. There are 6 screenshots in total. 2 of them are about 16-bit. You can kind of tell what's going on. They're worth 1 point. The 8-bit's a little harder, a little more punched in. 2 points, and then the 1-bit, pretty much impossible to tell what's going on the screen, and those are worth 3 points apiece. Are the two of you ready for your first guess?
Yeah.
All right, we go in order here. So, Latigris, you need some help. I'm going to give you the option. You're trailing in points right now on the day. Which one would you like to do first? You want to pick a 16-bit, an 8-bit, or a 1-bit?
I will do 1-bit.
You want to go
Right,
1-bit?
Molly didn't raise no quitter.
I love this
Yeah.
because you always get to know a little bit about, who you're working with. Do they want to go for the easy one first or the hard one first? All right.
No.
What is the context of this screenshot right here?
Oh. Okay.
I told you they're hard.
So somewhat. So
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint, by the way.
is Tomio doing something?
Can I buzz in?
No. This is Latigris' guess. You have a chance to steal, though. You can try and steal. So remember what Joshi, the hint he gave you last game was that usually I do these in chronological order. So you can imagine that the 1-bits are probably going to be later.
Yeah, this is later level. I'm trying to think. I'm like, wait, what was the full comp? Okay, so moving, and we had.
There's gonna be a timer.
And there's gonna be a timer. Oh, okay.
5, 4,
this 3, was
3,
over in the bot. No. The mid, they were pushing, and then
1.
they were getting kills over in the jungle side on top side. I don't know.
Not correct. Not
What is
correct,
happening?
Latigris. Josh, you have an opportunity to steal.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the total wipeout fight on the bottom side, and to be specific, I think this comes from when Tomio is using the ultimate, but it doesn't even reach the target because they've already died.
Oh, when he went up. The positioning of him. I just feel like this is elsewhere on the map for some reason.
I wrote down one thing. One thing for this one. Wrong monkey.
Wrong monkey!
And at this point in the game, it was pretty much over. This is like, generally I pick a screenshot that, has some narrative level to it. This one was just for the memes. So I baited you.
That's pretty good.
I baited you early on.
You let your
All
meme
right.
be a dream.
Wrong monkey. They ulted the monkey clone. That was probably the best play that Team Liquid first had. All right. Who's up next? Joshi, you're up next. You didn't steal
All right,
the
let's
point.
do the other 1-bit. Mama
the other
is
1-bit.
not afraid. She's egging us on. Let's see what else we got.
All right. What is the context of this image on your screen?
That says rooted, and this is when Lost kills City Witty in the bottom lane.
That is correct. That's the health bar of Lost as TL first were like, this game was over, right? Like, it was done. You're not going back. And they said, we're going to throw everything that we have left and lost.
I get 3 points for that.
Yeah, production. The one bit are worth 3 points. You can put 3 for Josh. Very impressive. The losses able to survive this. He even got the double kill later when he traded his life, but he died in that one, so I didn't include that because it didn't fit the narrative.
That's a hint. It's no longer part of the game.
Oh, I mean, what? All right, the Tigers, it's back to you. Both 1-bits are gone. You can go for either the 16-bit or the 8-bit.
I'll go 8. 8's my favorite number.
We're going 8. Oh, it's your... Okay, hey, look at that. We're learning about Gabby today. What is the context of this 8-bit image on your screen?
And why did I pay for LASIK if I can't make out?
Buzz.
Anything
buzz.
on my screen. So this is something with our bot laners because we got some feathery action coming in. There's like probably like a grand entrance, like Is
there a Garen in this game?
5
coming in.
4.
Bot lane making a play
1.
when they went past the tower, like over on bot side. Like
That is not
but
correct.
this would be mid game because it was 8-bit. See, I need to starting with a point in the
you
game.
need to get meta. You need to start meta
You
game.
gotta be meta. You gotta play to Steve, play to the host a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, can you steal?
This is top lane where City Witty comes in, gets the ult, and then Lost and Zazil just walk away.
That is correct. That is a spinning Wukong right there. The screenshot I took was actually a little bit before, like this bigger one is just like a second before the engage, because I want to highlight something. Rovex has Flash, has Ignite, has Tibbers, has Stun prepared. Now, about 5 seconds before this, they're under turret. As City is walking up and hitting the brush, they start leaving. Rovex had 2 separate opportunities to go for just a walk-up ult, or at this moment, a flash ult. Doesn't do it either time, and this was the moment where after this play, the game's done. In my opinion, like, there's no way for TL First to possibly get enough gold to come back from the game state it was in, and it was already pretty doomed, if we're being honest.
Like, that's a 4K gold lead at what, like 11 minutes or something?
Yeah. But I feel like this play in particular was like, okay, after this one, it goes poorly. Game 2. Like, that's what you guys start thinking about that same mental at that point. Okay. Well, that's a steal from Joshi. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Gabby.
Not going to lie. I knew at the start of the day this was going to be my worst of all of them, having done it before. And that's not looking good for me, considering how the other 2 went. So
2 more points. 2 more points to Joshi. Puts him at 5, I believe. And now Joshi is at... It's your turn, so you can...
Let's go 8-bit again. Let's go 8-bit.
8-bit again.
Do the fun ones.
Let's relive this game together. Give me the context of this image.
Boom. Oh. There's about to be a Vi popping out of that bush.
Yeah.
I knew that one over in the... Yeah.
Look how baited this is. Your jungler is on the Herald. You just push mid. You're like, all right, I'm just going to go link up. And there's like 3 people in that brush.
They don't give him anything, just instantly ulted, and he's suppressed. And there's not a whole lot left for Aspect to do.
It was pretty
Bit of a, I don't want to say if they go over, there's a good chance, but it's just like a,
Yeah. Shoutouts, though, I think, to Tomio, who had just an incredible jungle game. Like, his pathing was very strong. His unique gank angles. He was like 4-0 at one point. Really, really cool stuff from Tomio coming in the jungle. So, we have only 16 bits left, and Pick and Ban is almost ready. So, let's just get these really quick. Gabby, it's going to go back to you. Give me the context of this image.
Okay, so, wait. Annie no sums over down in the bot lane, gets super punished. I mean, like, they kept going. Got the flash and then kept going. Yeah.
It was so I think this was Annie supports new. Maybe didn't realize that Rakan Zaya just completely bodies it. Level 1 if you walk up and get engaged on. Okay, final one before Pick and Ban. Josh, can you give me the context?
Wait, what? Why is this hard? Oh, no, this is the 2v2. This is the 2v2 top lane, where Tomio holds onto it and then goes on to Surdy.
Yep, and really cool target selection here. Even though it was TL first that seemed like they were winning the play, Cloud9, they see, hey, they're split right now, so let's just target one of them and blow up Surdy. Cool stuff. With that said, I'm going to stick around, actually. I don't know why I was about to transition me getting out of here. We're ready for Pick and Ban. So congratulations, Joshi. I'm going to stick around for Pick and Ban again. But you have 1 in point total on the day. Would you like to gloat at all? This is your opportunity.
Nah, I just feel like Gabby just needs to learn how to hit the buzzer,
Yeah. I just wanted you to have 8 points in that because, again, 8 favorite number. So I was setting you up for success. Look,
I
such
appreciate
supportive co-caster.
I appreciate it, Gabby. You always do need that support coming through. I know that, like, color casters are, I think we're, like, 80% win rate in Pixel Perfect, like, over the years, just because we are...
Generally.
We tend to remember the game a little bit better, and we also like, oh, I know what that particle effect is.
My recall does not extend very well once the game ends. I'm like, I'm a very look back kind of person.
Yep,
I'm like, you asked me to remember a direct moment, even if I was the one who was yelling the entire time.
Well, that's the thing. You're yelling. You're not paying attention. I mean, come on. Like, that's what the play-by-plays do. We just make noise and react to things.
Yeah, the few times I've color casted, I'm just like, oh, I get to watch everything.
Real quick, I will set the stakes. If Team Liquid first win this game, they will get to choose which one of my legs is going to get waxed. Yeah. If they lose this game, their score is a funny number.
It is a funny number. That's a good point that I had not factored into which one. Okay, everybody, Cloud9, C9C, spam that for the win, for the vote, once that's up.
I really like the way y'all are dancing around. It's cool. No.
We like to have fun here.
Yeah.
Like that fun. All right, Cloud9, let's catch up on pick bans. Get it actually into the game itself. All bans have come through so far. Karthus, Fiora, Elise, no surprises. The Kindred is still available if City wants that again. TL first, banning away the Lucian, the Ashe, and the Maokai.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of surprises that the Xayah is going to be coming through early on. Looks like this has just been something that Lost and Zeyzal were already kind of playing even before it became super meta, and it's definitely something that Lost has been really excited about because you can play so aggressively when you have those extra escape tools and your own crowd control to play with. So really like this coming out already, and it does push TLF to play something a little bit different as they're going to be trying to take away their Khan here.
Okay, that's always that extra level you get. I mean, there's always going to be ADCs that pair with certain supports, but especially when looking at bot lanes throughout kind of the end of 2022 and then here in the start of 2023, there usually are some specific ones, right? So it's like Xayah coming back in, it is with Rakan. So you can get that sense of denial with Rakan being a support that a lot of people like to pilot, and Rovex being somebody that is oriented with engaged champions can make work of that. The Nautilus that you sometimes see Rovex pick up actually is now over for C9 Challenger, and Zeyzal really capitalizing upon a pick that's been coming back into the meta.
And it's always fun to see which teams prioritize, the Xayah or the Rakan early. I like this because, in my opinion, the Nautilus can deal a lot with what the Rakan's trying to do, so I think Cloud9 are still comfortable here.
Hey, we get another Kindred. We saw this earlier from NXI. Had a couple of good moments, but were not enough good moments to actually pick up the game. I'm hoping we see some good moments from City here on this Kindred as well. We know that it was mostly Bajani beating up on ADD, which allowed NXI to look good. Now it might be a similar situation where Surdy, in isolation, I feel like they actually played decently well against Fake God, but the rest of the map had fallen apart so quickly, they weren't really able to have much of an effect.
There's a lot of, I hesitant to say range right now on the side of TL first, but definitely lacking in some of the peel department, looking at all the engage options from Cloud9 so far. So they can try and play around with the Varus range, poke them out, but I don't see like a lot of tools other than Lamb's Respite that can really prevent them from just getting blown up from Cloud9 so far.
Because Varus, you're always having to be wary about that lack of mobility and kind of the preview that you give when doing things like charging up your Q, and when you're looking at a Vi on the opposite side, when you're looking at that dredge line. You also have The nice thing about Nautilus Ultimate Death Charge is once you're getting that target coming through and you're really isolating or targeting someone on the back line, you get that extended effect. So what is Team Liquid going to pick up to try their best to keep everyone as safe as possible without utterly relying on the ultimates that are already present within this comp?
I think they need to be aggressive, right? They need to be going forward with everything that they're doing, because if you can pick your battles against Vi and Nautilus in particular, they don't have the best tools to like stop the fight. They are kind of stuck in once the brawl actually begins. And so if we see some more aggressive picks coming out from like Aspect and Surdy, the Jax again, potentially maybe like a Silas coming out from Aspect, I think that could give them a lot of tools to find some of these picks and actually be aggressive. And Galio kind of works. It synergizes really well with the Rakan and the Kindred, and could give them enough follow, but puts more pressure onto Rovex to actually get the fight started in the first place.
Yeah, I was initially thinking that the Silas fit exactly what I wanted, because you can take the Nautilus ult, you can take the Vi ult, but the Galio, it's a similar process, right? Or similar thought. You know, you have some follow-up engage, you have some peel, but the Swain. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking specifically of Swain when I said the Silas, but like, because there's already some really good ultimates, but the Swain is also a really good one to have, like, if you can do it. Now the short-range characters are going to really struggle into this composition from Cloud9, just because if you do try and pick off one of these guys, there's enough just melee champions here that are going to try and beat you up back, that I'm not sure that Team Liquid have enough in the tank. And while yes, this Gnar, while I've been critical of this pick historically, it is good into Renekton, it does not solve the problems compositionally for Team Liquid first, right? It is already a situation where they are too over-indexed into short range, into Swain, and into Xayah.
Ooh, yeah, this is looking a bit tricky. I don't know, Kangas, do you see hope for TL? What do you think they are leaning into at this comp to be able to take down what C9's brought?
It's tough to find like a... I'm kind of echoing Joshi's sentiment in general. Is like it's hard looking at this comp to really find the positives. I'm just getting flashbacks to Wild Turtle when he had to play Varus into Nautilus Vi, because just 2 R's are pressed and then you're dead, and then that's like 50% of the damage gone on this team. Like, it's going to be City and LJX that need to stay alive to actually output the damage, and I don't see them surviving that. But that's up to them to prove me wrong, because we're ready for a game. So I'm going to get out of here. Have fun, Latyrus and Joshi, for the final game of the day.
Thanks. Yes, last game of the day. I hope we have an exciting one between Cloud9 Challengers and Team Liquid first.
Dizzle didn't buy items. GG.
Nah.
I'm just saying, like, if Fake Guy gets a Randuin's and like Tomio buys a Frozen Heart, like, the game ends. Like, you look at the auto attackers that are coming through from Surdy, City, and LJX, and the amount of attack speed slow that would effectively come through, the damage reduction going on to these characters, and the fact that there's not a lot of magic damage coming out on the other side. Like, Team Liquid first, they're in a situation where the first like 5-6 minutes don't get a big lead for Team Liquid. It's almost Cloud9 winning by default. So it is going to be really important for Team Liquid to try and have a game plan going into this. We already see City is going to be starting up on their own red buff, and maybe they can build Surdy a large enough lead that he's a relevant split push threat for a long time. And Zeyzal is going to be late to lane.
Yeah. Zeyzal's just going to have to take a little moment to double back before coming through. But for Team Liquid's condition, if they want to try and get City online, you're looking to the other players, right? Aspect here on the Galio. How can you use that presence across the map to create leads and really try and suppress C9 where they do decide to try and build things up, like the bot lane, where Lost and Zeyzal, I'm sure, will be trying their best to create advantages in that matchup? Because when Rovex is trying to go in, for instance, you just have an E you can drop on Nautilus. You have other ways to be able to punish that attempt to get some of that poke down. And then over on top side, Surdy on the Gnar, wanting to really have that impact, is particularly later on, get some good slams, but I don't know, it's going to be tricky for them if they can't create some advantages.
Yeah. And it's going to be just tough across the board, right? Like, Aspect does have some opportunities early on, because Swain before ult is, you know, like half, 2/3 of a champion if we're being nice. But at the same time, like, Cloud9, they do have to be careful, because they did lose out on the ability to get level 2 because Zeyzal was late to the lane, getting to buy items. I guarantee if you ask LJX and Rovix, they'd be like, where was he? Like, something weird is going on. I wonder if they did something in our jungle.
Yeah, I'd be like, maybe. Nope, just buying some items. And nope, just a bit of damage onto Aspect that gave Diplex a bit of agency to move on forward. Calls out the flash. A flash in response. Oh, the first blood! Diplex gets it, and City marked low too. Oh, no.
All right.
They were doing the thing, Joshi. They were doing the thing. They said,
They're doing the thing. They had the game plan.
Yeah.
The game plan was good. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out. I do like the fact that they are trying to make something happen, but now Tomio is going to be going around the back. There's not going to be anything up here for Tomio to farm, but it looks like a really long gank attempt, or a potential dive attempt going onto Surdy, but he's very healthy. This is a very difficult dive.
Healthy indeed. The wave coming through under the turret, and Fake God trying his best to pressure him, gets the stun up to start and juggling some of this aggro. The follow up as well. Surdy flashing away because knows that City is coming through, but can't do it in time. Can City make something come of this? But that's so hard. You know that there's two there. Can't quite finish off just yet. So in the end, Tomio does fall, and we have City falling, and then now Surdy coming back into lane. So a bit of a trade-off, but still the aggression coming in strong, and C9 here wanting to punish over on that side.
I really hate doing this, Gabby, but I think this game's already over.
Oh!
Right? Like, we were just saying their only real way of winning this is to build up enough of a lead in the first, like, 5-6 minutes. They're now down 1,000 gold already, based on, I mean, admittedly, like, the start of this dive coming out from Cloud9 is really well executed, right? Guaranteeing all of the early damage, and then it looks a little bit odd as Fake God does have to flash out, but there's just enough damage off of the red buff here from Tomio to get the first kill, and then as City comes back, he's still super low from the, we'll call it a dive attempt in the mid lane, and then if Tomio doesn't walk back up here to get auto-attacked in return, like, that's just 3 kills going over to Cloud9 right off the bat. So we're looking at Tomio once again starting this game with effectively a double.
Yeah, City barely able to get that response kill, and that double kill is going to put a lot of heavy pressure onto Team Liquid. And again, we're saying that we liked that play, even going back to the play that happened mid. We want to see City trying to make these plays elsewhere. We talked about that aspect on the Galio. Can he do some setup to make that happen? But when it does go in their favor, and now Tomio looking to make that action happen again in the mid lane, but it's the 2v2. Tomio taking a lot of damage. This is where the punishment happens. City getting 1, now 2 kills in the pocket in total, and dish a lot of damage back to Diplex, but he knows that he's safe enough. All right, we're starting to see a bit more comeback.
Yeah, I mean, that was really good. I was very surprised that Tomio committed with the Vault Breaker even after Diplex had missed the Never move, because, you know, there's not that much damage left to do to Aspect, and they were a little bit unfortunate that City was also right behind them, but it's still a situation where it's not enough for Team Liquid to be even going into these upcoming fights. They actually really need a lead, and one of the things that I'm kind of curious about, is whether or not LGX would feel confident in going for Wizard Forest, right? Going for AP in order to diversify their damage profile. Because right now, they're definitely in a position where if, you know, the Randuins or the Frozen Heart comes through, oh, hold on. Fake God goes forward. City's here.
Oh, get in the bag. So, yeah, I was looking for, and they did have the wards for TL. There is a ward over in Triton in favor of Fake God, so trying to keep some eyes around the lane as much as possible. And for Cloud9 on the bot side, if you're looking at the way they've been pressuring there, they've been really good about stacking these dragons fairly early and then now picking up the first for themselves. They know how to play through the bot side of the map for sure. And it's not as big of a gold lead as it was before. It's only now about 500,000, but still something for them to work with.
Yeah. It's also worth noting, right, that as we kind of look at this game, as we are starting to stack up, one of the big things that we were looking for from Cloud9 is their shot calling, but now, Fake God.
Yeah, they're going for Surdy. Fake God's here. Tomio's here. They get the kill. Cloud9 punishing over on the river.
Yeah. I mean, so much of their playmaking throughout games has been attributed to Zeyzal as this very strong playmaker, but that's just the kind of thing where Tomio and Fake God working together are just able to catch out Sturdy, trying to find some kind of advantage. He needs to take these kind of risky plays in order to make things happen. Unfortunately, this one does end up getting caught out, and you only get so many of those flips before the game becomes untenable. And City does in fact notice the ward. They will be trying to make something happen on the other side of the map because they have gone for Australian lands, right? Flipping the world upside down.
Yeah, a little bit of a switcheroo for themselves, giving LJX some time over
You
on
don't
the
kill him. Don't try.
top side. Say what?
They don't kill Diplex.
Oh,
here.
they
Like,
don't kill.
There's no shot.
Diplex making sure to connect with all he's got, and the fact that Cloud9 are just able to kind of comfortably keep to their positioning. They notice the different rotations of swapping that has happened from Team Liquid, but all the while their bot lane are pushing up this wave. They're getting these plates starting to get marked down, because we're only at just past 8 minutes in the game, and there hasn't really been a reason for them to really aggressively shove, because there's been so much action going on the top side and the mid side of the map, and bot lane kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah. Dove Sturdy once before, going to be calling it off this time around. And Fake God, I mean, he has to be very aware of where Rovex is. Just because if Fake God finds himself in an isolated 1v1 going up against LJX, that's potentially a solo kill, as we see a Rift Herald actually drop here for Team Liquid first, and a couple souls going to be going over to Diplex. This is a potential fight.
Yeah, Diplex is trying to go forward, gets the raking him on in, and LJX not long for this world. Cloud9, they see that Rift Herald, they raise you a kill and look for another one. City flashing away, knocked up directly under the turret, has to pop the Lamb's Respite just to be able to survive. Manages to get out of range and survive.
Yeah, only taking a couple of the Lightning Talons. If there had been a couple more of those... No, City, do not, please.
Ooh.
Okay, he's got the shield. I was a little bit worried there. That would have been...
Shield me.
That would have been a way. That would have been a way to give over a kill. But, I mean, it's not the same kind of lead that we saw in our previous game. It's a little bit scrappier at this point in the game already. But Cloud9, they're still very much ahead at this point. We are past the point where we said Team Liquid needed to have already built up a lead. And it's kind of been impressive, right? One of the things that we've talked about a bit on the Challengers broadcast is kind of the resurgence of a lot of the more veteran players. There's been a lot of sophomore slumps coming through. Not everybody, but a lot of them have not been living up to the expectations, whereas players like Fake God, Law, Zeyzal on Cloud9 have all been having fantastic splits thus far, and we were kind of expecting to continue to see that with how strong these guys have been playing, because it doesn't feel as though we're surprised. It feels as though this is how they were always kind of playing, and they're just having an opportunity to showcase it once again.
It's almost that reminder as opposed to anything else, because yes, we've seen such flashes, especially considering the competitive prowess of these players, multiple having been in LCS, and on a really top level when you're looking at players like Zeyzal, who have, you know, won titles and pushed far at Worlds, and really getting to see them come into form together collectively, and that's what puts them on the next echelon. Is Fake God right now getting a bit of a target by Aspect, and City wants to go for the follow-up. City is the win condition for Team Liquid right now. If you're looking for a way for them to try to close up this gold deficit that they have acquired, 2 kills in the pocket, just finished off the Kraken Slayer recently. City is that damage that they're looking at. I know that you were wondering what direction that LJX was going to go when it comes to the damage type or build that he was going, but in the end, it's because, right, you were saying there's so much AD just elsewhere available to them.
Yeah. Wait, so is he going AP?
No, that's what I was wondering, if you was going to go ahead and like calling back to that. Yeah, I didn't phrase that perfectly. I was trying to say that, yeah, City is already such an AD threat for this team that's why we were looking at other parts of it to see what can they do in response, because this was always a direction that they were wanting to go with the squad.
It is worth noting that it is technically not too late for LJX to pivot. One of the best first builds from AP Bars does in fact have a Muramana in it, but as another dragon goes through, Team Liquid. Alright, Team Liquid not there in time. That is going to be another turret. Flight getting picked up likely here. Diplex very close to picking up this first turret, and Fake God has been unattended for large portions of this game. It's part of why he's been farming so well as a top laner, who usually tend to be lower than mid laners because it's just harder to CS in the top lane. But now Cloud9, I mean, they're just getting plates and plates and plates, and this is starting to look very reminiscent of Game 1 again.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not as explosive in certain parts, but exactly what they were going for. Because you have to amplify that lead in a sense when we're making note of the fact that it's not just that Team Liquid first are behind. It's that this is a comp that needed to get early lead opportunities. So with those windows closing and C9's windows expanding to dragons to their name, Fake God drawing a lot of attention over on this top side, but still deathless. Team Liquid wanting to see what they can do up here, actually collectively bringing multiple members.
I saw something interesting there, actually. Fake God Max and W second on Renekton. I don't see that hardly at all. I'll have to do some research on it later on in the game, but one of the things that I kind of want to talk about is one of our major poster boys for the Academy scene has been Nopla, right? As one of the big successes that we had. Came into CLG last year with an opportunity to build up another opportunity to showcase that they deserve to play LCS, and has been looking pretty decent as Big Dokes continues to do well. I'm kind of curious what your perception has been on a lot of these veterans and their opportunity to continue growing now that they're currently playing the Challenger Series.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is showing growth specifically. Like, I think that's the most important part of what you say, because you almost, when you are somebody that's been in the LCS, there's almost that level of people saying, we have seen what you can do before, even though there's context, you know, what team were you on, for how long, what was the development like? But it almost puts that extra edge of, now I want to see if you can do more than that. If you're going to come back into the LCS, can you do more than what you did the last time around? So you have to see that forward projection for the members, and that's what Cloud9 are showing in not just their mechanical ability, but to work together as a squad, where that's a lot of times the biggest difference maker between LCS teams and in these other leagues, is showing just how different it is when you have a bit more control of the late game, when you have a distinctive voice that is very singularly making the calls, and is the team able to follow up? Does everyone kind of know their role within different compositions of players? And I think Cloud9 showing that flexibility and joining players that haven't all played together before but have had different peaks is one way to showcase that they are prepared to make that next step.
And widening out the conversation a little bit, we actually had a number of players promote from Academy into LCS going into 2023. A lot of them we were kind of expecting to do quite well, right? Tenacity, Busio on 100 Thieves, Team Liquid still have Harry and Jan, and then FlyQuest with Ayla coming in this week, actually, in order to start playing there. I mean, what are some of the big things that you as the LCS caster are starting to lean into in order to try and evaluate how well these rookies are doing?
I think a lot of it, honestly, when looking how these rookies are doing, I'm also looking at the pieces around them. I feel like that's the first step. A rookie coming in, what is the setup to allow them to flourish? And a lot of the teams this year are taking the approach that EG really popularized when they achieved their championship. 2 rookies plus some other veterans to really bring them up. And when you're on a team like with Team Liquid, that's the, you know, the Harry, the Jan pairing with these other veterans. While they're not finding as much success, I think that is indicative of where they can find that growth. Even on 100 Thieves, you got Busio and Tenacity that have, you know, Bjergsen and Closer and Doublelift there to lead them through. And then now Ayla with, you know, a former MVP and other very strong players around. So that's the first is, okay, am I evaluating this player based on, hey, they are set up in a position to grow, or are they being put in a position on a team where, yes, they are new, but they're also with other new players and they might look rougher for some time. So how are they kind of really fitting into that squad? And I think that is where I have to start the evaluation, is the context of the team that they've come in through, and then comparing it to what we have seen from them in NACL or Academy. Because sometimes you can forget how dominant they were in this league if they have a rough start. And I think it is important to showcase, hey, look, they have these peaks, even if they do have some rough moments. I mean, Kenvi, for instance, is someone I'm still looking for to have that blast out moment. We know that Kenvi can have that in him from his time over in Academy and the amateur level, but still waiting to see that step up, but it's difficult on a team that is struggling. So I think that the team aspect is a very important factor when evaluating the debut of a lot of these players.
when you have the strong leaders, it helps a lot. And bring it back to this game a little bit more, I feel like now, or throughout this year, it's been a very similar roster build coming out from this Cloud9 Challengers team, right? You have the 3 veterans, Fake God Lost and Zazel. You have Tomio, one of the younger players, and then Menace has played a lot in like emerging regions, Turkey, Oceania, a little bit, and Diplex was also playing in the like the EU Masters scene or the EU European Regional League, mostly playing for Vitality B over the recent years, and has had a lot of success over there, but still a relatively young player that Cloud9 was just looking at saying, yeah, these guys have a lot of opportunity to continue growing. We think that they will be quite good. And, I mean, so far, having a leader like Zazel on the team has, I think, helped these guys out quite a bit, because it allows them to focus so much on their own individual play and worry a little bit less. It's like, Tomio, not all teams would just leave there, right? But going up against Cloud9, you're like, oh yeah, this guy probably knows what he's doing.
Yes, and I think Tomio is a great person to point to when thinking about these players that came from EG prior.
Oh, Shield.
Yeah, just a little there.
Yeah.
But Surdy and Tomio and them, where EG kind of had this identity where all of the players there, you know, Contract was on there for a while, even before Tomio and things, right? Oh, look, great players, a lot of aggression. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you get games that swing the other way. And to me, I'm a big fan of you can always pull back. And I think that's one reason why Amenez, for instance, just got promoted is you can reward the aggression by then teaching where to pull back. It's harder to pull that aggression out of players. So when you see that where you have players like Tomio that in the past, oh yes, have been making some really great choices, but when on a fairly young team, sometimes they all commit to not necessarily the smartest, most controlled play. Whereas here, Tomio having a voice like Zazel to say, maybe now is not the time, let's step it back a little bit. That's going to give him a lot of those tools to really step up to that next level of player on this Cloud9 squad that, as you can see, are continuing to just commit to that very controlled play, even in this game where they have a lot of leads, but they're still sticking together. They're still making a traditional mid push to get this wave in, and then even on the bot side, you got a little bit of that 1v1 action, but it's that control being taught that's really proving to be an advantage.
And it's part of why, and Cubby's been the most vocal about this, but we've talked about it on the broadcast in the past, is that, you know, we look at players like JoJo, who, let's be real, has been like monster running it over the past couple of weeks, right? Like, it has not looked good, but he's still trying to make things happen, right? And it's one of those things where limit tester players, dopamine players, as we sometimes call them, they tend to have very rapid growth if they can figure out how to pull it back when it matters. And that's why I've been impressed with players like Gomsu's ability to scale into the season, because he doesn't limit test in the same way as some of these players. And I feel like that has been something that Tomio has been being given a lot of room to kind of go for those limit testy things, right? Even there with the Vault Breaker previously into the Tri-Brush, right? Like, that's a very bold move. If there are people there, you might end up going down and it'll look not good, but over time you will better learn, when can I actually do this? When am I safe to take these higher risk kind of plays? And for anybody curious, we're kind of waiting for things to happen where it's not just Cloud9 slowly building up a gold lead, slowly playing the map a little bit better. And once they have a couple items underneath their belt, remember, the entirety of Team Liquid First magic damage is Galio with an Everfrost, right? They are, it 100% allows Cloud9 to completely armor stack, and there is no way that Team Liquid First will ever be able to kill them.
Yep, the build's been the story of these past few minutes, where that gold lead just extending and no reason to force any of these fights, and Cloud9 just continuing to get advantages. We finally get a little bit of action. There's the root and then the knock-up, and Rovex having to ult and heal to get out of here. Lost, not the healthiest, but still enough to do damage. Rovex still out of the equation. City in the center of them all has to pop the ultimate, keeping into this fight over the wall. Diplex gets into it, and even under this tier 2 have been eliminated for Team Liquid, which means Cloud9 can have their way across this top side of the map. This is what they've been building for, right? Hey, we're just going to keep pushing this gold lead and getting stronger, so when those opportunities come, look how hard they slap. Aspect eliminated immediately, and now C9 can get a second turret for themselves.
Yay, funny number!
Hey!
we're going to get the Baron coming out here for Cloud9. Even with no ultimate, Diplex is so hard for Team Liquid First to actually deal with. And there's another Dragon. The Cloud Soul spawning in 25 seconds here. And Cloud9, it's so good for all of these members, right? It's so good for Lost, Diplex, FakeGod. Every single one of these characters gets a ton of value off it. Surdy going to try and make this happen. Diplex does not have an ult just quite yet.
Still a Swain. Oh, they
Nice.
yeah, that was a nice hit from Diplex to be able to draw this out. Enough for the teleport to come in from Fake God if there is more intervention, but good timing on those parts with the ultimate available as well for Swain. You always have to be worried about that sustain. Two teleports coming in now. The stun up immediately upon the arrival for Aspect, and as soon as he comes back from stasis, LJX took so much damage, had to flash back over into Riverside while watching City get killed in mid lane, and now Rovex not long for this world. LJX also on the retreat. Cloud9 looking for it, Lost throwing out the ult just to try to finish up, and does exactly that. Cloud9 dominating across this map, and Surdy and the Lonesome as the Gnar just wants to try and offhold some of this pressure on the top side, but Cloud9, they don't care. They are getting themselves a Dragon Soul. They are ushering this wave up mid. They are ushering and waiting for the next one to come here off of bot as soon as they take this tier 2 down to continue through.
Ooh, all right, and here we kind of come back into it, right? This teleport from Aspect is unfortunately not very great, right? There's so much setup around this. You need to teleport to somewhere where you aren't just going to get plopped immediately, and Team Liquid don't allow anybody, or they don't have a situation where they can't get out, and I'm a little bit curious if there's a way for them to get out, but ultimately, at the end of it, there's not a whole lot that Cloud9 is going to be leaving on the table. And we've seen it before. Lost is just left over here to do the Dragon after asking, hey, can we end? Nah, I don't think so. Just go pick up the Dragon. We'll be back in a minute to actually see the rest of the inhibitors. But it is Cloud9 maintaining such a dominant streak. The 2-0 here definitely setting themselves up, because even though the playoffs themselves, the regular season only builds towards the playoffs, you always want to have the better seed going into playoffs. It makes the rest of your bracket easier.
Oh wait, so the funny number for TLF, speaking of like Cloud9 trying to go in the dominant way, that would also mean the reverse of the funny number.
True, but 24 is not as funny.
Yeah, that's not as funny, but there's a little bit of mirroring there, you know, just
true.
extra layer to the...
I feel like I've had this conversation with you before, actually. I don't get deja vu very often.
Somewhere, somehow, I get a little deja vu with how much damage TL takes, though, against the C9 squad. Diplex killing off City, and the follow-up is good. Plenty of damage onto Fake God as well, but they continue in their pursuits. 4 down, looking for the ace. Surdy, always the last one up right now just because of the nature of the game, but with Baron buff in tow, an absolute domination from Cloud9 in this game number 2, going from 5-2 for so long on the kill board to 16-2. Look at that gold lead that has just kept creeping on up into the deepest, steepest mountain you have seen. Oh. They want to get it! Zazel falling in the meantime. Diplex directly out, immediately comes from going golden, but it's still a good win for Cloud9, and no waxed leg for Joshi.
No wax leg. I keep it, but I might have to lose the facial hair a little bit later on. I mean, a fantastic dominant performance coming out from Cloud9. Don't know how much more there is to say. It feels like they kind of outclassed Team Liquid First basically everywhere across the map, and that was the game. Team Liquid First still have a lot that they can still work on, but they do have an easier schedule coming up for them for the rest of the split.
Maybe that's where they can shore up some of the issues, but at the same time, you're going against a really strong team in Cloud9 Challengers, so also cut yourself some slack as they were asserting their dominance before the season progresses. All right, that was our last game, though. I think you said it. Cloud9 Challengers did very well, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from one of the members in just a moment's time, so stick around after the break.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our post-series interview. I have the one and only Tomio breaking the record for number of interviews accepted in a single split. I believe this is our 4th time getting you on, so congratulations on that. And also you won some League of Legends games today, so I guess good job there too.
Thank you.
First off, I gotta talk about your background. Where are you playing from right now? Is that where you always play from, or are you at home right now?
I'm playing from the house. This is our scrim room and our game room, where we play from, and my room is actually upstairs, so I just come down.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I don't know a lot about the current Cloud9 Challengers kind of like housing situation. Is it a gamer house that you're all in?
I'd say it's like the main house where everybody comes, they eat and they scrim and practice here like after scrims.
Okay,
Play
cool.
solo queue and everything and our game days.
But you don't live at this house. You just go there for practice?
I do.
Oh, you do? Do you have any roommates?
Yeah, there's 3 rooms upstairs. There's 3 rooms upstairs. It's me, Lawrence or Lost, and Eminence.
Okay, Lost and Eminence. Who's the messiest roommate? And it's you, isn't it?
Messiest? I'd say, yeah, maybe it's me. Because I barely go in my room, only like at night when I sleep and when I wake up. And when I shower, I guess. But that's all.
Okay.
I just leave stuff. But it's not like too messy. It's not like crazy. It's just like fine. It's acceptable.
All right. Well, what do you do then if you're never in your room? You just
What I do? I just play League and I just listen to music and I just watch stuff and
Okay.
that's all I
Alright.
do.
Cool. Well, obviously, we've learned a lot about the team throughout the interviews that we've had with you so far, but I am curious about your thoughts on how the team's going forward, because you are poised to end the season in first place going into playoffs. First off, is that your goal? Are you putting any pressure on yourself to achieve that?
No, I haven't putting not that much pressure on myself. I've just been trying to improve
Okay.
every day and see my mistakes, strengths, practice, and our matches, and being the best player I can be and teammate for
Cool.
what fits our team.
Well, if that's not your goal, my second question is, do you have any incentive to finish first? I know Jack sometimes
Yeah,
his
yeah.
teams will try and put
Yeah, oh yeah,
incentives
for sure.
in there.
Yeah, I know I didn't say, but yeah. Oh, incentive?
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know, but maybe there is like a surprise. But yep, I think first place.
I want to bring up something because Joshi just whispered it in my ear, and it was very uncomfortable. So now I have to bring it up to you. He said that if Team Liquid first got a win, he would wax one of his legs. First off, did you have this information going into the game? And if so, why didn't you throw one game so that we could get that content?
No, I didn't get that info, but game 2, I was kind of trolling. Actually, my second death was pretty bad, and then the first death was kind of trash too. My first death, I was trying to like eat a minion and kill Kindred, but I killed her anyways. I could have lived. But yeah, we could have had a perfect game, but I ruined it for my team and everything.
Joshi has made several bets about Cloud9, apparently. One of the other ones is that he bet against Deserix that if you end first place in the regular season, he will have to shave his beard. Have you seen Joshi's beard, by the way?
No, actually, I've seen a lot of people with beards, but
Okay. When you finish first place, and he has to shave it, it's not a matter of if, but when.
okay.
What shape should he shave it into before he takes it completely off? Are we talking like just mustache, like pencil mustache? Are we talking like the landing strip? Is that what that's called? No, that's a different thing. Just a strip down the chin. What do you want him to look like?
I mean, I'm not an expert with beards and everything, but I found there was one called. It's called like a, those sleeping braces, those neck braces.
Neck brace.
It's called like a neck brace beard. It's like stop like snoring. Yeah, chin strap.
A chin strap. You want a chin strap. He doesn't
Those are like
have
uncommon.
it up the whole like jawline, but I think he could do it around the chin, like literally just the chin, and that would be hilarious. So I
that'd
actually
be
do
good.
want to see
Yeah.
that now.
I think it's rare for people to have that. So
Okay,
it's like cool.
he'd be like
Try
the
that one
guy.
out if you think you look good in it.
Yeah, isn't that the guy like from Road to El
Fit it.
Dorado? Doesn't he kind of have that kind of facial hair? I'm thinking of a different movie. I'm not sure. Either way, thank you, Tomio. Fourth interview.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we kept it a little loose and goofy. Any shout-outs to anybody watching at home before we let you get back to your team?
Yeah. Shout out my teammates. They're the best. Shout out to my coach, Sam, or people know him as Sanista. Shout out to our managers, Shout out to our personal trainer that helps us with workouts in the morning.
Speaking
And-
of, I want to do some workouts with you at some point, so call me.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'm down. Anytime.
All right, maybe we can get
And-
Latigris in there as well. We'll get the whole swole crew together.
And shout out to our sponsors.
Which are
Right
putting you on the spot right now.
now, actually, I know. I don't know. I think HyperX, AT&T, C9.
I can pull up
Red
the
Bull.
Cloud9 wiki page. Maybe it's on
Shout out
there.
to
Either
them.
way,
Yeah, I got
shout
that.
outs to all the people that are supporting Cloud9. Shout outs to you, Tomo, for coming on
Thank you.
and putting up with my wackiness. And best of luck going into your prep for the rest of the
Thank
week.
you. Good luck too. Appreciate it.
We'll bring back on the rest of the cast now to close out the day. That was one of the more casual interviews I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, let me help Tommy out real quick and
Yes.
do the classic Cloud9. Shout out to. Wait, am I remembering the name? of it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's Stratus, right? Yeah, Cloud9 Stratus.
Okay.
I'm thinking the
That's
right
their
one.
subscription service.
Yes, so I have
Yeah.
a complimentary Cloud9 Stratus. I was really scared that I was saying the name of someone else's subscription.
What,
person.
what's
That's why I had to pause.
what's the cool thing you got from Stratus recently?
I actually have a lot of cool stuff. They have a lot of really good merch. One of the things that I wear a lot now that it's colder is it's a hockey style like Cloud9 jersey,
That's cool.
like oversized,
alright.
but and it's like actually double layered where it's actually really warm without being suffocating. So I've kind of been living in that during.
You
go.
have
this
it
time.
readily accessible. Like,
I
you
can get it
grab
in 30 seconds.
Grab it. All right.
Grab it. We're gonna do standings
I,
while you
I
go.
have to see it. Me and Joshi will fill while you're doing that. Let's take a look at the standings here to close out the day. Cloud9 Challengers finishing in first place. Joshi, how's your chin feeling? You ready for it to feel a little colder?
Okay, well, it is important to note that Dignitas did not play today.
Yeah.
So that's why Dignitas are down 2 games, because they
All
didn't
right.
have a chance to play just quite yet. That said, I'm hoping I do get to pick this, because we do see, as we were talking about, a bit more separation coming out throughout this whole thing, right? You definitely have, I feel like you have like 3 blocks. You have your middle, like CLG, or 4 blocks. You have CLG to AoE.
Yeah.
You have Golden Guardians through like Fear, and then you have the 2 at the top. And then there's a 4th block. Let's go.
Okay, I could see it. I still think more 3 groups, but yeah, C9 and Dig have shown that they are maybe ahead above. But Latigris is back. So if you're wondering what that whispering was coming in from, that's the standings at the end of day 1 of week 6. Latigris, we're waiting. What does it look like?
I almost just ripped my entire mixer board off when I was running. So I couldn't find that one right away because I think it's actually in the laundry, but I found this is also another warm one. I definitely sound like I'm sponsored, but no, I just have so much from them.
Okay.
Like a matching.
Oh, that's pretty nice
Ooh,
too.
That is pretty good. And you got that from Stratos?
Yeah, I get the.
Nice.
Sometimes I get an occasional really big box. I will say.
Ooh.
Sometimes it's a huge box and then it's just these 2 pieces in, and I'm like, wait, the
Still
box was like the
So
size
cool.
of a PC, but it gets all the fancy packaging and stuff, and then sometimes
True,
you're like,
true.
oh snap, there's like a lot in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're just
Nice.
helping Tommy out, you know.
You gotta make sure. Gotta make sure Tomio knows everything he needs to do. We should get some marketing training for Tomio as well. It's like, hey, make sure you shout out these guys, like Team Liquid Honda. Shout outs to Honda.
Yeah,
Every
they
time.
are on it. Team
They are
Liquid,
on
they
it.
know the plugs every single time. So yeah, Tomio, I mean, this is his 4th time. By now, he should be ready to shoot those plugs in, right? All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for day 1 of week 6, everybody. Thank you, Latigris, for coming on from the LCS and helping us out here at this level. It's awesome to have you back. You've had a long history of casting, Amateur Academy, and now coming back in for Challengers League. So thanks for coming by.
Yes, it's always my pleasure. I love getting to come and cover the scene and really get to like keep my hands in it somehow. Definitely a lot of love in my heart. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you, Joshi, as well, for offering all of the hair content that anyone could ask for. Filling in where I cannot,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I gotta give a
but-
shout out to Gabby for being such a supportive co-caster today in all of our halftime shows.
Yep.
It's the only reason I
Let him
lived,
win.
so I can lift you up.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that.
And shout out to the number 8.
Yes.
With that said, we're going to be back tomorrow for day 2 of week 6 with more NACL action, and we'll see you there.